Most people spend their whole lives chasing money without ever understanding how money really works. Imagine this. This small circle represents $1 million. Now multiply that by 10. That's 10 million. Multiply it again, 100 million. And then $1 billion. The numbers become almost impossible to imagine. Some people have built wealth so massive that it goes far beyond that. People like Jeff Bezos, whose fortune became larger than what most people could earn in several lifetimes combined. And then there's the average person. Maybe that's you right now. You wake up early every morning, go to work, come back tired, repeat the cycle again the next day. You studied hard and school-hopping education would guarantee success. You were told, get good grades, find a stable job, work hard, and everything will fall into place. But reality feels different. Bills keep increasing. Savings barely grow. Debt follows you everywhere. And no matter how hard you work, it still feels like you're running in circles. So you start asking questions. How are people becoming millionaires in their 20s? How are ordinary people building companies, creating wealth, and changing their lives completely? Why does it seem like some people know a secret the rest of the world missed? At some point, many people convince themselves that success is luck. They were born rich. They had connections. They cheated. I'm just unlucky. And slowly, dreams begin to fade. The dream of financial freedom. The dream of traveling the world. The dream of taking care of your parents. The dream of owning your dream home, your dream car, or simply living without fear of bills. But what if the problem isn't your dream? What if the problem is the formula you were taught? Because most people were taught this equation. Work more hours equals make more money. Sounds logical, right? But there's one huge problem with that equation. Your time is limited. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Every job has a ceiling. No matter how hardworking you are, there are only so many hours in a day. And when your income depends completely on your time, your freedom becomes limited too. That's why many people work for decades and still struggle financially. Meanwhile, others create wealth at a completely different level. Why? Because they understand something most people don't. Money flows toward value, not effort alone, not struggle alone. Value. In a capitalist world, the people who solve the biggest problems often receive the biggest rewards. Think about it. People spend money on things that improve their lives, things that save them time, things that reduce stress, things that entertain them, things that make life easier. That's why businesses grow. Amazon became powerful because it solved massive problems. Convenience, fast delivery, easy shopping, accessibility. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. And this changes everything. Because instead of asking, how can I make more money? You start asking, what problems can I solve? That single mindset shift can change your entire future. You do not need to invent the next Facebook. You do not need billions of dollars to begin. You do not need to be a genius. You simply need to pay attention. What frustrates people? What wastes their time? What do people constantly complain about? What service is missing? What solution could make life easier? Every successful business started with a problem. And once you find a valuable solution, the next step is scale. Because wealth is rarely built by trading hours for money forever. Real leverage comes when your solution can reach thousands or even millions without needing your constant presence. A teacher can teach one classroom, but an online course can teach the entire world. A local shop serves one neighborhood, but technology can serve millions globally. That's the difference between income and scalability. And the truth is, many people never become wealthy because they stay trapped in survival mode. They chase paychecks instead of opportunities. They focus only on earning instead of creating value. But the people who build lasting wealth understand this. If you solve enough problems for enough people, money becomes a byproduct. And even then, money itself is not the final goal. Because deep down, most people are not chasing pieces of paper. They are chasing freedom. Freedom from stress. Freedom from debt. Freedom to spend time with family. Freedom to wake up without fear. Freedom to live life on your own terms. That is the real dream. And yes, the journey is difficult. There will be failures, doubt, rejection, moments where nothing seems to work. Most people quit during that stage. But every successful entrepreneur, creator, and innovator has failed before succeeding. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. The key is learning fast, adapting fast, and continuing anyway. Because every mistake teaches you something valuable. So if there's one lesson to remember from all of this, let it be this. Stop chasing money. Start chasing solutions. Learn skills. Create value. Solve real problems. Build something useful. Because wealth is rarely created by accident. It is usually created by people who noticed a problem and refuse to ignore it. And maybe the life you want is not as impossible as it seems right now. Maybe it begins with a different mindset, a different approach, a different equation. Not to work harder for money, but become valuable to the world. Because when you consistently create value, opportunities begin to appear, doors begin to open, and the future starts looking very different from the past. Your time is your most valuable asset. Use it wisely.